Thanks, Jibs. If you try anything, Sonny, if you get to the store and you see just like it's like a milk carton, but it's a little black carton and it's Southern Comfort eggnog.
Oh, nope.
But listen, there's no Southern Comfort in it. There's no alcohol in it at all. But it is the best eggnog I have ever had. It's straight eggnog. I'm not joking you. It says Southern Comfort.
Everyone has that one drink that they can't drink ever again and can't even smell it or talk about it?
Yes.
That's Southern Comfort.
Okay. Unless the text of Southern Comfort makes you sick, there is zero alcohol in it.
The font of Southern Comfort makes me sick.
But if you taste this eggnog, it is hands down the best eggnog I've ever had. It tastes like a cheesecake in your mouth. It is amazing.
Around these parts, the best eggnog is the Gold Anderson Erickson carton. I don't know if that's like a national thing or if it just exists around here, but Anderson Erickson is the best eggnog for sure. But the Southern Comfort stuff, I have seen it before, and I have specifically not bought it due to my massive fear of even smelling or thinking about Southern Comfort.
Buy it. I am telling, there's no alcohol in it. There's nothing. It's amazing.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for me.
Oh my God. I'm going to come to Iowa and give you a dose
have you not had like what? Okay. What is your drink that you can't drink?
Cuervo.
Cuervo.
Straight Cuervo. Like the old school crap Cuervo. Yep. I can have Cuervo Gold and all the other stuff, but yeah, I had a just super quick story. When I was a teenager, when I was a teenager, I went to one of my older sister's house parties with a bunch of her friends, and I was drinking a Tecate. I love Tecate. It's just a super nice Mexican beer to drink. So I get about halfway done with my Tecate, and I went to the bathroom. Of course, now we know you never leave your open drink, and somebody filled the rest of it up with crap Cuervo, and I drank it because I thought I was being cool. I knew there was something else in there, but I drank it. And that was a night that I did forget it because I blacked out.
JB, what's your drink? What's the drink you can't drink?
Local Southern California.
Oh, bourbon barrel stout.
Bourbon barrel stouts.
Oh my God. I ruined you for microbrews for the rest of your life.
No, that's not true.
Was world-class beer.
That's not true. I just, I have to just ease into it now. Like you
had too much. I think that was the night you were lighting cigars off of each other. I think you had 3 cigars that night?
Dude, we did the flight, and that first beer was 19.6% alcohol. The moment I drank it, you looked at me and you go, "Oh, good night." Oh, I'll never forget what you said to me.
19, but it was pretty high.
It was 18 or 19. It was stupid high. And
I want to hear from the chat here too. This is exactly it. That 19 put you, as soon as that happened, that was it. You moved. There was a domino that was set into motion.
Dude, and there was like a flight, right? And you want to drink them all. And so then we go home and I proceed to have 3 more whiskeys and 2 more cigars. And by the end of the night, when we had the Costco pizza, and so by the end, I looked at Mike and I go, "Can you take my blood pressure?"
Take your blood pressure?
I was like,
my heart
first night here, and I damn near killed the dude.
My heart felt like it was just like, oh.
I got to be honest with you. I've never asked somebody at a party to take my blood pressure.
Well, it wasn't a party. It's he and I watching Tropic Thunder and him falling asleep. So, it was.
Well, I'm old. I take naps.
Oh.
Mine was in the dorms. Mine was Southern Comfort in the dorms. I was 18 at the University of Iowa in Reno Hall on the 9th floor, room 942. And I definitely was in a bathroom by the end of the night, vomiting most of the lining of my stomach up. And it was This was back in the 90s though. So like a dude who is like actively vomiting blood didn't even raise an alarm. So they're just like, he'll sleep it off. And I did. But
Drink some water.
unfortunately, the casualty to that was my ability to even smell Southern Comfort for the rest of my life. Just done. Just cannot.
Isn't that crazy?
Cannot ever do it. It's unbelievable. Like it is such a distinct reaction from me on that smell. And God, no, I don't even know what would happen if I tasted it. Like it's so vivid. So vivid.
You won't taste any of that damn eggnog, so don't worry about it. Like I would not set you in the wrong direction. It literally is amazing.
Insane Axeman says Budweiser. Weevil says my death drink is Beefeater gin.
Oh,
that was a bad one. That's a bad one.
oh,
De La Luna, Cuervo. Night Possum says it's Coors. Oh, goodness.
Sounds like a Friday night. What'd you do? It was Friday night, wasn't it?
So here's a question for you, Jibs.
Yeah.
Are we already recording?
Technically, yeah. I've been recording, but we haven't started.
Release it.
All right, cool.
Say we release the raw on this one.
I like it.
The pre-show.
This is like this is like an episode that was never supposed to happen, but happened, and it was supposed to be a week off, and here we are, and so it just kind of is what it is.
Yes, I mean, look at me. I thought we started at 7:30. I was 100% not prepared. I was actually downstairs making like a bowl of spaghetti when I looked at my phone and you were like pre-show started, and I knew immediately. I sent the text. I was like 7:30 ? Knowing what was going on, that I was way wrong on this. And you're like 7. I'm like, God, I just swearing. There's like one of Henry's friends over and you got this insane father running around the kitchen swearing at the spaghetti, and the Hawks are playing right now against Nebraska in the Black Friday game. And it's all wrong. By the way, Adele on here says Goldschlager. Have you guys had Goldschlager?
Yeah, Goldschlager and Jägermeister were the two when I was growing up.
I like Jaeger. I will actually also drink Goldschlager for a joke, but Goldschlager is like a peppermint drink with little flakes of actual gold in it. It's the funniest thing.
Huh.
It's got real bits of Panther.
It's so true. I did a show once. I did like a guitar show in a guy's backyard, and he gave me a bottle of Goldschlager in addition to the payment. And I was like, sweet. And I brought it home, and Kelly's like, what are you even going to do with that? Like, we're not going to keep it here. It's a
are you
bottle
15?
Of Goldschlager. I know. Yeah. I'm like, who knows? Find a fire somewhere and pass it around like you do with Goldschlager.
It's almost like Fireball. It's almost like Fireball nowadays.
That was my first drink. It was you,
Fireball,
me, a member of Mog Nation way back in the day in Seattle, and I didn't want to tell you.
Who was that person?
Jinx. It was me, Jinx, and Cash, and we were at a gamers bar in Seattle. And he said, okay, we're going to start light. And I'm thinking internally, I'm like, buddy, this is not light for me at all. Like, this is round 1, like in Mortal Kombat. All right. Like, this is like a full on go time. And so anyway, first drink with Cash.
Goldschlager.
Yeah. You're welcome. I've completely corrupted your soul.
I love it. By the way, Fireball is that's not a weird thing. That's a Midwest thing. Like
it is.
It gets cold and Fireball comes out.
Oh.
To this day, even with me at my age, tailgate, Fireball in coffee, Fireball in various drinks, all of this stuff. Fireball is a strong tradition in the Midwest.
I'm going to have to go buy some now.
Weddings?
Yeah.
Fireball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to get through it, right? Thanksgivings?
Yep.
Anything with family. Christmas?
Yep.
Easter's?
Passing them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many you got there? 7? Oh, that's at least 7 shots. You know, like
Fireball. I mean, like when you said like that's like Fireball. No, Goldschlager is not like Fireball. Fireball is like Fireball.
Fireball.
You know what I put? You know what I put in my coffee?
What's that?
Not Fireball.
Bailey's.
Goldschlagers.
Southern Comfort.
Ugh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Can't even think about it.
So what do we want to talk about?
Pain Realms on here says Bacardi. Bacardi's a good one to never drink again.
So real quick, I guess maybe this will be the last thing about alcohol. But so I'm drinking Old Overholt. tonight.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I got this from my brother-in-law. It's a straight rye, and he had like a whole thing printed off on it. Apparently, this is Doc Holliday's favorite drink, and they still make it.
That's really cool.
A rye. Yeah.
What was the name?
Isn't that cool?
One more what? What?
It's called Old Overholt.
Old Overholt.
Oh,
Yep.
Over, like Over.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Look
see
at
it
the
now.
damn camera.
Yeah,
Well, it's
backwards.
it's
to us.
backwards.
Yeah.
It looks like she's
Okay,
having,
then it's Delo to low hole to Rovoro.
Yes, exactly.
nailed it. Got it in one.
You know, the old low hole.
Oh,
That's how I'll sound after half that bottle.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Or Fireball.
Fireball.
Oh,
Let's do this.
What do you want to talk about? This is the episode that never was.
Yeah. I mean,
Fireball.
I guess we can just like get right into it.
Well, this was
I'm with you. Welcome to the Midwest.
Welcome to the Midwest. Welcome to Midwest Forge.
You're
Yeah,
eventually going to get up here, Cash. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you a housewarming Fireball when
yeah, buddy.
I
Oh,
move here.
I love it. I'll totally drink it while you move all my stuff into my house.
So this was like the episode. We weren't going to do an episode this week, and then we were going to do an episode. It happened all kind of last minute, and we're like, let's just talk about a few things. And it was Thanksgiving. We could talk about what we're thankful for or something. I don't know, like chat about the weekend war we had. We know we need to talk about that. Mm-hmm. That was a thing.
And then we had a dev update.
Oh yeah, there's some dev update notes. So I guess we do have some stuff. Yeah. All right. Cool. Take the lead.
Definitely do. What do you want to hit first?
I don't know.
What do you want to hit first, producer?
Keep it chill, open forum. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Let's do thankful last.
Okay.
Let's do what we're thankful for while we close the show. I think that's that's a good show close.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah. So then maybe we should talk about the war that never was for the EPH.
Yeah. So that was crazy, huh?
Okay, how do you want to start this one? I think we have to start it from. the top. Here.
Let's do our timeline, like how it all happened.
Yes.
Like originally it was you
Cash
and
was
Cash
the
talking,
first to
right?
know about this. So
Okay.
Cash is shutting a door or wrangling a cat. It's hard to tell when he does that. He could be doing both. He could be shutting a door and wrangling a cat. All right, Cash, you were the first to find out about this. So why don't you start?
Yeah. So Cash was first on the scene of this thing. And essentially what happened was we were all in a grind group. And we were just doing our thing, just living our life in Vyra. And we started to get messages. I started to get some messages from folks that were like, hey, man, like things are popping off at, I believe we were at the Tower of Carfin. I think that's where it was. Anyway, at one of the Ember Springs, there was a guild that was just killing people over and over again at the Ember Spring. And I was thinking like, I don't want any part of that. So let's not die while we're in here, because otherwise, we're probably going to get sucked into that whole thing. And apparently Jamie's guild was there. There was a few guilds that were there. And that was the message that had come out from Steven when Steven sent that message out in the Alpha 2 info area on their Discord and said, do not kill people at the Ember Spring. There's a known bug right now. And you basically go black screen is I think how it was happening. And during that time that you were black screen, your character was visible in the world and was attackable.
Yes.
And that's what was happening over and over again. And, people were just like mass dying. And I think by that point, and yes, it was the guild, not EPH. And I guess at that, like by that point, people were just over it because EPH had been doing some other things and may or may not have been part of the exploit that got some of their characters wiped and stuff. And like, I don't really get involved in all that stuff. Like if you're exploiting and you get punished, then that's on you. Right. So what ended up happening was, like messages started flying. We had some of our members that were like, hey, are we getting involved in this? I think, Jamie's talking about going to war and some of the other guilds are doing it. And I was like, well, I got a couple of guys that I need to talk to before we're going to declare war on anybody. And they're like, cool, we're heading over there. It just failed. Like they were heading,
deuces.
This
was a
this
very
is more
proud
of an
moment.
FYI than it is a request.
It was a very proud moment for me because I was like right on. Like our folks are they're super excited about getting involved in things that are going on the server, and I was very happy about it. So anyway, to make things a little bit shorter, I contacted both you guys, and I think I sent Jibs a message and Sunny a message. Sunny didn't get back to me right away. Jibs did and said, I think you're like, hey man, we need to be careful about what we get involved in. That sounds like a big thing. And I was like, okay. So then I'm talking to Sunny, and then I thought like Jibs, like you're silence your notifications, you're ready to go to bed. So Jibs is getting ready to go to bed. And then all of a sudden this thing just starts escalating and escalating and escalating. So I pop up Jamie's stream and I'm watching, and all these guilds are saying, you got our support. And I'm like, oh my God, everybody's doing it. Like, we need to go and support. And then I think the domino that really started everything for us anyway was Roar's and Vladis's guild, Best in Slot, went and forged their support. And we were just like, okay, well, that's our ally. Now our ally is actively involved in this thing. So I got on Discord with Sunny and we were talking about it. And before I got on Discord with Sunny, I think I told one of our officers, start mobilizing the troops. Like, we're going to do this thing. We got to get like full buy-in from everybody. So I got on with Sunny. We talked our way through it. We're like, yeah, we got to push our support in behind this thing. And then miraculously.
Okay, I'll take it from here because I want to. This is the only part that I was involved in. Is this one little brief moment? So I have to at least interject into this thing. So Cash is talking with the guild and he's in the channel and like stuff's going off and I'm getting the text and everything. And so I jump in and I'm like, all right, what's happening? He gives me the rundown. He says that like there's all this stuff is going on and everyone's supporting this and blah, blah, blah. And should we go to war? We should go to war. Are we going to war? And I'm like, okay, let me so I'm just listening to like the people talking for a while in the chat and everything like that. I'm like, okay, let's jump down to private. Let's talk about this for a second. So we jumped out of private and Cash is fired up. He is fired up. And so he's like, I think we got to do this. I think we got to do this right now. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I've listened. I haven't interjected to like the people and I'm gauging the room and everything like that. I'm looking to see what's going on. I'm trying to take like an objective, slow thinking approach on this thing. And I come to the decisions like, yes, I agree. I think this is a good move for us. We should support our allies in this point. This is a common enemy. This is a great reason to go to war. And so Cash is like, so we're going to war. I'm like, no, we are not going to war without the war chief. Like, we are not doing this until we get a hold of JB. Now you can text him and you can call him.
I'm the PvE guy, by the way.
I understand this. But I'm like, no, it's not happening. So get him on the horn, however you have to do that. And then when he gives us the okay, then yes, we are going to war. And he's like, but it's 2-1, right? I'm like, yeah, but we're going to sell it to him first. So
don't out me. Look at his face. Great. Now I'm in trouble.
He wanted to go, man. And I was keeping the reins on him. And I got to be honest with you, one way or another, this was probably going to happen, but I was not going to let this happen without the war chief giving the buy-in. And so finally, Cash, I will let you go ahead from now. This was my big involvement in this thing, is largely keeping the reins on you.
All right. So let me lift the bus off of my back real quick.
Look, you stepped out into the bus lane. That's what happened.
I felt very strongly about this, Sonny. Okay, so anyway, miraculously, Jibs texts us back, and then he pops into Discord, and I was like, thank you, dear baby Jesus. He's here. There's zero chance of Jibs saying no. And not only did Jibs not say no, Jibs was like, no, like, yeah, okay, we're doing this. And then he pops in to game, and I think he was worse than me, like at mobilizing the troops, man. It was very cool what ended up transpiring. I believe there were 16 total guilds that declared, and that was because this was the first time that we declared war on another guild. So we had to figure out how to do it. So we're messaging Jamie. Jamie's messaging us back. Or actually, he was just reading our messages and then just saying, out in
he was live streaming the whole thing.
He was live streaming. So everybody got their ducks in a row, and the whole guild was headed there. And by the time I got there, there was like guilds lined up along this road, and everybody was pretty much ready to go. But before all that lining up happened, something else happened when myself and Will, one of our fantastic members, he was with me as we were heading over in that direction of where everybody was mobilizing. And we noticed that one of their named folks was running out of the town, and he was ungilded. But we knew the name. And we were like, wait a minute, so-and-so's right there. And then we were just like, kill him. So now, pay attention to this. He's ungilded. And this is now, like, we had declared on Not EPH, but now one of their ungilded members is like hauling butt out of town, and we fired it up, and we ended up killing him. He didn't fight back, which in hindsight, I figured out real quick, he was baiting for sure. Like, these are incredibly experienced PvPers.
Yes, they know how to play every game that they're playing. They're not
very well.
They're not average players, I would say.
No.
These are very, very sweaty dudes that understand how games are played.
Right. And very, I will mention too, very impressive in PvP. So there's a big part of me. It's like, we're not going to be able to beat these guys without numbers. And even with numbers, it's going to be very difficult to beat these guys because they're just very, very good at what they do. So anyway, he goes running by me. I stop, recall it out, and then I just start flinging arrows in his direction. He does not fight back, allows me to kill him. And then over the rise comes 3 more ungilded gentlemen. They weren't gentlemen. They were very mean. But I was dead in a matter of seconds. And then, of course, because I was corrupted immediately after killing him. So I was corrupted very quickly. And that begins the tale of my experience debt for the evening. But it was right after that is when it clicked to us, these guys ungilded. And then we all went up and we all got together. Their last known location, I think, once we were all mobilized, we started moving toward the tropics, which was their last known location. And that was it. Like, they ungilded. I don't know if they logged off. Maybe someone went to go hide. Whatever ended up happening. So yeah. I mean,
what happened with the war declaration? So if you declare on Not EPH, then you have the ability to fight them, correct? And if they unguild, then that's just not a thing anymore? If they unguild, there's no guild to fight. So I don't know if they just dropped guild or if they actually all dropped guild and then disbanded the guild, which was a tactic. Tell me how you really feel.
Okay, so I have 2 sides about the way I feel. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys feel about this too. I have 2 sides of this, and I talked about it on Vladis' show. On one hand, I do not like cheaters. I hate cheaters. And I'm not saying that about anything that they did on Vyra when they moved over to Vyra. That looks to me like if any exploiting was done, I doubt there was much. These are just folks that know the game very well. Many of them, if not all of them, were most likely in the Alpha 1. So they're very skilled at knowing how to level and how to do it very quickly. So any exploits aside, I do not like folks who are just PKers, and that's all they want to do is just cause havoc. Now, I get this is a role-playing game. People are going to do that. Like I said on Vladis' show, I am lawful good. Like, that is just the way that I am in my life, and it's the way that I am in games. But if you cross me, I have a significant issue with that, and I have no problem declaring on you, which is why I was so like pumped up that night. It was like, no, like, they're doing the server wrong. Let's join the ranks and at least do what we can, right? So I don't like that at all. I hate that style of gameplay, and I'm just very, very happy to be on the side of the good. That being said, this is a role-playing game, and despite me not liking the circumstances, and the other part is I completely thought it was totally chicken shit for them to drop guild. Like, if you cause this problem and now you have a problem where you've pissed everybody off, own it. I do not like people that run away from their issues. Stand up, be a man, and freaking own it. And if that means you lose, it means you lose, but you owned it. I wouldn't even have been mad if they'd have logged off, but dropping guild, that does not sit well. It still doesn't sit well with me. Okay, real quickly, the other side of this for me. It's a role-playing game. People are going to play their game. They're going to play the game that they want to play, regardless of whether or not I like it. They're going to play the game that they want to play. EPH, in doing what they did that night, provided content. And I'm not talking content for YouTube. I'm talking content for the people who are playing the game. It created a unity of the rest of the server where we were able to create our own content and experience something that you don't experience in World of Warcraft or in any of these other, games that are maybe quote unquote on rails or not a sandbox type game. This is a sandbox type game, and these are the moments that get created regardless of how other people are behaving, but they create moments like this that create memories for us when we play. We're always going to remember this as an insane memory, a super cool thing where the whole server came together, and it was because of EPH. So I'm not mad. Like, I'm not at all. As a matter of fact, it's like, despite how you did it, thank you for providing me with that night of memorable fun. It was super freaking cool to watch that whole thing happen. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
JB, you want to go?
Absolutely. So kind of going back to when everything first started, the fact that you even got a hold of me is truthfully a miracle, because I had logged off that night, long before we even, Dank's in here. Hey, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, what's up, man? Welcome in.
Before we even started the war, like, I had already logged for the night. You guys were grinding. I had finished my grind session. I was in bed. And again, at 9 p.m., all notifications automatically just, on my phone, they go to mute unless it's like family, like for emergencies. And so Cash had texted me earlier. I'm like, I wonder if he ever responded. And so I scrolled up on my phone and I just see text, Jabs, we need you. And I'm like, okay, can you hop in Discord? Yes, I can. So I hop in.
How many of those were from me versus Cash?
Mostly Cash. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like
9-1,
which is odd because it sounds like he was ready to go and exclude his war chief. So, that's fine. But anyway, so I log in Discord, and actually I look at my wife and I go, and she's reading a book, right, at this point. Like, she's just chilling, reading a book. I looked over and like, hey, you mind if I get up for a little while? I might stay up. Is you cool with that? She goes, yeah, babe, just come back later, whatever. I'm like, awesome. So I amicably walk downstairs, and once I hit the basement, I am running to my computer, like, boot up. And so anyway, I hop in, and it really was a blast. No matter, like, and Dank, I see that you're in here, and so no matter like the reasoning of how everything came about, I do appreciate the content. That was a lot of fun, and it was a bummer to me that the guild was dropped, and I'll tell you why. Like, I was that same kid, legit, that person. Like, when I first met Cash, I was playing Warcraft PvP hardcore. That's all I cared about was PvP. And I would do anything. I would use slow fall and blow up people who were lower level than me in Thrallmar, troll them and push them and push them and push them, waiting for them to come at me. Ultimately hoping for...
Slow fall? You'd use slow fall?
Oh, heck yeah, because I would dot the crap out of them. My Shadow Priest, by the time, so like they're getting blown up and they can't reach me because of the line of sight, is the link. So anyway, so my point with this is that I was hoping, I wanted that fight, and we had a guild, and I wouldn't disband because I wanted you to know me. I wanted to make sure that you knew this came from XYZ, and if you want to fight, here's where you find it. And they would return. Okay, they would return the shots fired, and I would get stomped sometimes, especially when they call in the buddies, because you could tell when they make the call. Anybody who's a PvPer, when the horn's been sounded, because then you're seeing people starting to really show up, right? And that's what I wanted. And we wouldn't always win, but we would as well. And so to that competitive standpoint, no matter how overwhelming the odds are, even if they went and hit out in some ruins, you know, with some level 20s or whatever, like that's fine too. But for me, the competitive spirit in me, maybe it's, I don't know. I've heard some people throw around the past week that, well, many of us are old and outdated and all kinds of other things. I'm like, if that's me, then that's fine. But I guess like back when I was doing said thing, like 10 years ago, like, hey man, we fought. When the competitive side in me wouldn't just quit. I don't believe in that. That's not in me. Finish the fight, bro. Like either you win or you lose. And when you win hard, great. When you lose hard, that's a part of it. Like sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. And that's the part that's where I'm kind of like, yeah, that's the only part I didn't like about it. I thought that was unfortunate. Because yeah, I really wanted to partake. I mean, there's no, I mean, I was lower level than everybody there. If anyone had focused me, Dank, if any of your guys looked at me, you could have whispered at me, bro.
You just fart in your general direction.
You could have looked at me like, hey, you. And I'm like, oh, and I'm Ash, you know, like so. But overall, though, truthfully, like aside from that, I really did enjoy the content. I really did. And it brought the server together in a way that hadn't been seen before. And, you know, it's something that we're going to be covering in upcoming videos. We're going to start looking into server lore and put it with some LoreForged storytelling to it. So overall, yeah, I really did have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an excellent take on it. I think that there was moments in there that really transcended what we do as a guild into the server sort of situation. Now, you can't, how can I say this delicately? There was a lot of accusations about the server itself being like an RP server filled with RP people, and certain people took that to heart. Jamie's definitely one of those people. If you watch his stream over and over and over, he's like, you know, we're not just the RP server and all this other stuff. We're not like slow old people that just RP. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of a slow old guy now that RPs. Like, you know,
I love it.
And so they were they were riled up and they were going after it. And you know, the tactics in which they used to gather support from the rest of the server was to show that these guys are spawn camping. Whether or not they were spawn camping before they were, you know, attacked by a whole bunch of other people, I don't know. But nonetheless, there was. And so they say, okay, look, these guys are spawn camping. Also, these guys came from another server where they were booted off the server from the exploit. And we have long been supporters of Intrepid and this testing process. We have instructed anybody that will listen within our guild. It's like, look, this is a testing process, okay? We are going to enjoy the game as much as we can, but our goal is to help Intrepid test this game. And with things like duplication exploits and economic exploits and leveling exploits and things like that, that's not helping them test this game. Steven has been explicit about this. And so they were able to gather a lot of support for this. That is one side of it. That is the not RPG side of this story. But once it transcended into something that us, the Black Talon Trading Company, that LoreForged could sink their teeth into, that is when we did what we do, which is have a lot of fun with this. And so it ended up being a thing where we were able to, if you look at the video, then you see us talking to Jamie, and we're not just saying to Jamie, it's like, yeah, let's go gank these MFers. No, it is like the Black Talon Trading Company will not lend a blind eye to its allies in this moment of need, right? Like we're just in it because now this is something fun for us. And this is what our guild is all about, is having fun in these moments. And so then JB's in, and like, I was laughing to myself. So I was at the fire station. I worked the fire station last night. I worked a 24-hour shift. And so I'm just like, pardon me, not last night, when this happened. And so I'm like, I'm locked in. I can't really take part in this whole thing. And I'm just watching this whole thing happen around me. And the videos I see later and the commentary and having JB do like the slow walk in front of the troops and riling them up and all of that stuff, you can't create that under false pretenses. You need a common enemy. You need a real threat. And no matter what happens, everybody understood that EPH is a group of gamers that whatever they did almost became irrelevant. We knew that they were a superior force of individuals. They just didn't have the numbers at that time. And it united an entire server. So this was like very much a sort of allies axis type of situation where you almost didn't even know what the politics were by the time that you got rolling into it. It just was the thing. And so the fact that it didn't turn out and the using mechanics to drop that, it sucks, but I'm glad that people went along with it regardless of the corruption. Yeah, you're going to go corrupt. Yeah, you're going to lose a bunch of XP. Yeah, you're going to do all this other stuff. But be in that moment, man, because that moment can't be created under false pretenses. You can't just manufacture that kind of thing. That is legitimately what JB refers to as server lore. This thing will live forever.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first real moment that we had in this game that is like in-game political activity that generates something like that. And it was chef's kiss awesome. Now, having said that, I do worry about the future of the server for Vyra, okay? Because at the end of the day, like, we're a group of 3 dudes that have known each other for a long time, and we love to make content, and we want a little piece of the world to do what we do and to have fun with it and have our community of like-minded working adults that do this stuff. We are not nearly sweaty or nearly numerous enough to handle something like this on the regular. All right. We just aren't. Some of us are. And in small groups, the some of us that are into that are going to be very formidable.
I was going to say, we do have some sweaty folks.
They do exist.
Who are all about it.
Yeah.
And they'll be great, right? Like they are talented. They are talented. Like EPH is talented in their little groups. And like some of us were, maybe not quite that level, but certainly of the kind of thing where that was what we did, was focus. JB himself says that is what we did, back in the day. But that was back in the day. And it's a little different now. We're just at a different stage of our lives. And so I just don't want the server to turn into something where it is a bloodbath just to prove a point all the time, right? That's what I don't want, because it loses that political drama. It loses that kind of, up and down. If your baseline is a level of aggression and fighting and anger, then it's white noise. It just becomes the norm. And then you lose those spikes of interaction. And those spikes of interaction is what makes life interesting. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to be in a bloodbath 24 hours a day because of that kind of stuff. I want to enjoy those moments where something happens and then we rile the troops up and we're like, this is the thing. Our threat level with the threat levels of the guilds and stuff like that, and like be on the lookout, treat hostile actions with hostile responses, stuff like that. That's fine. That's all fine, right? But a baseline level of noise that's so much escalated is not what I'm looking for. And I really do think that some of the other guilds that are on our server, like the Jamies and the stuff like that, the Lloyds, for example, they're expecting that and they're going to treat it like that. And that's not the game that I am looking for. If I was looking for that game, I would go elsewhere. I want this to be the MMO experience that has the universal highs and lows with that kind of gaming. So that's my take.
Yes. And I love this because we actually have Dank in chat, and this is really cool. So Dank says, we aren't looking to destroy your server or anything, fellas. No worries. We just want to fight those who want to fight. Envious refuse to show up even with 5 times our numbers. So no, that's cool. And I appreciate that. I think that for us, it is one of those things where we want to learn the game. We want to learn the game well. We want to learn our classes well. We want to learn the synergies that we have with our groups well. But at the same time, like, we are having a good time when, if we get, some adverse effect or something, or some adverse action against our guild, we have a lot of fun with it. And we've had I don't know what, 4 or 5 kill on sites already, where we've kind of issued these orders in like our fun little RP flavor. And it's been like a fun little hunt for our guild. And now this one just boom, just escalated it. And it was able to test our reactions to something like this, so we can have a plan moving forward, even though our PvP lead keeps bankers hours, but he rallied up for this one, so I'm pretty proud of you.
Oh, we're doing this now. All right. Well,
So we got multiple buses. We got a bus.
We're just running buses over each other.
Oh, right down this road tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't mean just because we might be the little older crowd that we don't have fun with this stuff, because it adds to the gameplay. It adds to what we want to be able to accomplish in this game, which is the full realm of the things you can do in a sandbox. And this is just a perfect example of it.
This was the first.
That's exactly it. Sorry, go ahead, JB.
This was the first EVE Online moment for the game.
Yeah,
it was the first EVE Online moment, and overall, I think for us, whenever it comes to a server, we look. Well, I won't say we. I don't want to speak for all of us, but I think for myself, I think of balance. A balance for all the things that we're experiencing. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, yes, we are a show here, but we're also doing YouTube over there. We've got a community over there. We got other stuff that we're writing and working on back here. It's not even out yet. So for us, we need to be able to make sure we're doing all these things. But the part that overall that stands out to me was that it was a fun moment and fun memories and fun content at the end of the day. Because even if I'm going against that bad guy or group, at the end of the day, it is still content. It is a memory and it's a moment that you only get those only so often. And honestly, overall for me, I think the epitome of all of this is, and Cash mentioned it, and actually Cash and I were talking briefly earlier, I feel like if you are a guild master for Ashes of Creation, it's incredibly unique. Because it's not a static MMO. It's not an MMO that you log in right for you've hit max, okay, you're done with your quest, whatever, and now you're working if I'm working arenas or if I'm doing something else, or maybe it's raid night, maybe dungeons or whatever. You know what I mean? It's more than that. It's legitimately, like Steven says, what do you say, a moving train? That's what guild mastering in Ashes of Creation is. It is a living, breathing thing. And so my point is that entire experience and all the experiences we've had so far in Alpha 2 truthfully has given us personal testing for the live version of the game. Testing in situations and things that may come up that you weren't expecting. Okay, how do you handle it? What's that look like? And so I'm glad it happened. It definitely was a major buildup to really not much bloodshed, when it actually came down to it. But it was the result and how everything came together, I think, that made it truly special to me.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, that's it, right? It's those moments that are created, and there's a rule with improv that you never say no, right? No matter what the question is, you never say no. You say yes and this was one of those moments where it comes along to you and you don't say no. You say yes and so by us saying yes and to this moment, we were able to get a bunch of the guildmates together. We were able to line them up. We were able to march in front and be able to cheer them on and to excite them and to send them out. And yes, unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be the big momentous, Lord of the Rings battle at the Black Gates. But nonetheless, I think that everything leading up to that, there was not a lot of people that were disappointed. I think that they largely found it extremely fun, and that's all they really want, right? What are we playing this game for if not to have those moments where you get really excited and are able to do something outside of your boring, mundane life online with these characters that are wielding swords and carrying bows? That's what we do this for.
Dude, It's so funny that you say that because you're 100% right. This is a true story. As soon as all that stuff started to go down, I walked outside of this office. My wife was in the kitchen and I burst out. And my wife's like, "What?" And I said, "Babe, I don't know what time I'm coming to bed. A lot of shit's going down right now. Are you cool if I stay in there?" And she goes, "Just go." And I was like, "Yes." It's like the freaking old married dude having to ask permission from his wife to sit in here and freaking play with his friends. But it was a hilarious moment. And then I came out and I was like, "Babe,
shower, please."
it's like, "Babe, I gotta tell you what was going on." And she's just looking at me with this blank freaking 1,000-yard stare, just like, "Okay, did you have fun?" I was like, "It was so much fun." And she goes, "Okay, good. I'm glad you had fun." I was just like, I am such a dork. This is my life.
I wish people outside of the guild could see like the kind of things that we do for the guild with the RP sort of like what would it even be called? Like the pinup parchment for the wanted type of stuff when we do a kill on site or something like that. You know, like the
ones that you design,
the designs that you make, right?
Yeah, that tracks.
So like when we do something like this, we don't just like say, you know, this is the person, we're doing this. We have fun with it, and you make a thing, and it's like a wanted poster, and we explain like this person is, if seen in the wilds, you know, like do not attempt to apprehend, stuff like that.
No quarter given.
No quarter. And this is the blast for this kind of stuff. There is plenty of people on the server that are not like having fun like this, and they take it personally, and this to them is only, you know, a game that you log in and try to dominate and then leave. There's lots of people on both servers, on all servers, that are like that, but it's just so much more fun to do it this way. You know, it's the spice of life that makes me want to do this kind of stuff. Even though I'm like an economy guy, like I love this. That's how I got the Bloody Sunny nickname, is because it's so much more interesting.
Okay, so I want to throw something at you real quick before we move on, because then we're going to talk dev update too. But without getting in details, and I'll go last, and Cash, I'm going to you first. Off the cuff, in a perfect world, what would you have wished for this war? Like how it could have happened had everything, you know, they stayed in guild and everyone just went at it. Like what would you have, like if this was a perfect war, what would it have looked like to you? What would the timeline been?
I think the timeline probably would have been decided that night. Had they stayed in guild and rallied up, kind of like the same way that everybody else was doing. I have every confidence that we would have eventually overtaken them with numbers, but I think it would have been really tough. And the reason that I say that is because I have seen and I have heard of a lot of the tactics that were used by EPH that were just like mind-blowing. Like death in seconds because of just the tactics that were used. And I'm not going to say what they were, or how, you know, or what I witnessed or what was witnessed by others, because that's their stick. You know, I'm not going to give that up. But just incredible coordination between those folks. And I think that is one of those things that just, there will invariably be players on servers that you're playing on that they're always going to be better. And it's going to be like that top 5% that can say like, there's just nobody better than us on a server. For us, I think for a majority of Black Talon, we want to get in, play the game, experience everything, test it, give our feedback, do all the things that we want to do for launch. And right now we are in a learning phase in every aspect of the game.
Oh yeah.
So there's invariably people out there that are going to be just better than us at this point, and people that PvP is all they want to do. EPH showed that. So I think eventually we would have gotten them with numbers and probably made it painful, but I think that they would have put on one hell of a fight. So I think it probably would have been settled that evening had they stayed in guild and just come at us. And I was surprised they didn't. I mean, these are very experienced people. So that's what I think would have ended up happening. There was a lot of us there rallied up. 16 guilds, big and small.
Mm-hmm. It was like the
no doubt.
the Rohan camps before they leave for Helm's Deep the next day or whatever it was. Or no, it was Minas Tirith when they're getting ready in Lord of the Rings, and you look down that crevice and you just see like all these tents. That's about what it felt like. Much smaller version,
cool.
but
It was
stunning.
fun, man.
I agree that I would have liked it to have been a one night kind of war, right? I think that would have been ultimately what I was looking for. When I was young, I read a short story called Lenigen versus the Ants. And I can't remember exactly how this goes, but basically it was a guy and he was in South America and he was waging this survival war against ants. And these ants were large and they were coming for him, and he knew they were coming for him, and he had set up all like defenses and everything like that. And then at the end of the day, there was just too many ants, and they overwhelmed his defenses and they killed him. And that is what I would want out of that war, is like EPH on the top of a hill in a backs to backs in a circle, just slaughtering ants until eventually the ants overwhelmed
too many. Yeah.
And that is the kind of thing that, like, what we are able to do as content creators and as guild masters and things like that is to have fun and to rally groups of people in order to go have some fun with this thing. Are we at a point where we can 1v1 with some of these people? No. Will we ever be? Maybe. I don't know. Some of us are pretty sweaty. But like, certainly not at this point. We just, on average, we just don't hold that kind of behavior and are able to do that kind of stuff. But what we can do is have a hell of a lot of fun and rile some people up to go to war. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what we did. And so I honestly, I couldn't be happier about the whole event, because at the end of the day, there's almost nobody that's disappointed in our guild about what happened, right? The people that lost some experience, who cares? They don't care. They're like, yeah, totally worth it, right? The people that were able to take part in it, to run over there, to stand and rank and file and see JB do the RP walk in front of them, shouting orders. Like, it was fantastic. It was absolutely great. So like, I don't have a lot of regrets. In a perfect world, I would have loved a bigger battle. But at the end of the day, like, I wasn't really looking for 3 weeks worth of this. I was looking for a good night of fun, and then go back and see what happens the next day. Stuff like that. Because I don't personally harbor any ill will towards any of these people. They, they're gamers, and I get it. And, many of them got banned from another server from stuff like that. But you know what? Like, they got punished for something that they did. And that's appropriate to me. I was an attorney for many, many years. If I didn't believe in punishment for a particular crime, then my whole philosophy would be different. If you are punished for something, then there should be a rehabilitation after this. So I don't know. I don't have anything personally against them. If they are coming to our server now to ruin my life going forward, yeah, I'm going to have a problem with that. Like, that's not what I want out of my gaming experience. But for that night, all it was, this is the situation. This is the action. Our allies are going to war. Will you support us? And the answer was yes, we will support our allies in this war. And everything after that was fun. So that is something that is super, super fun for me. And I'd like a little bit more of a fight at the end of it, but I'm not disappointed. I don't think many people are. Yeah, no, I definitely feel the same way, and definitely no ill will as well. I mean, look, if I saw, like, for instance, Dank, who's in here, or any of his group, like if at launch party, we're all sharing beers. We're talking about this, like, I don't care. Like that's I care more about people than I do game, truthfully, at the end of the day. And I care more about beer. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's always a good time. But in moderation, kids, moderation. Don't do what I did at the top of the show, like we talked about. Overall, I think for me, that entire experience, I think what would really sweeten the deal, typically from a standpoint of adding another layer to the whole conflict. And I'm going to use this guild specifically.
Gray Sentinels, because I distinctly remember them standing across from us when everyone's getting ready before we all moved out right to the tropics, and they were just lined up. And I think what it was sweeten the deal, before we ever left, somehow Not EPH got to one of the leaders of Gray Sentinels, and they flipped. And before we even left, Gray Sentinels flagged up and just came at everybody, us and all the others across from them. And it just turned into a massive, just a backstabbing kind of brawl.
What is wrong with you?
That is political intrigue. How awesome would that be?
That happened?
No. I wish it would have.
This is JB's fantasy world.
I was like, wait a minute. Oh,
he
that's
wants
your
to
fantasy
see Churchill reach out and stab Roosevelt at the signing. Yes, by the way.
How awesome would that have been? Just all of a sudden, not expecting it. All our allies at the time, Gray Sentinels, and again, I'm using them because I just remember them being crossroads, flag up and come at us. And then EPH comes in. And they had been continued to have been gilded up at that point.
That's the Red Wedding.
It would be one heck of a fight. You want headlines? There you go. Like, just would have been.
The NPCs rip off their mask and they're EPH. The caravansary guy. Blah.
I do want to say this. I'd like to close. I'd like to close with this. I think the funny part is that it's got to be a bug, because when we went to declare war, we picked the cheaper option, which was to basically declare a fishing war against them. So we literally had a fishing war against Not EPH, which I laughed my ass off on that one. But then afterwards, so within the last couple of days, the war ended, and we were granted the victory in the war.
Oh,
and this is something that happened a couple of days ago, but I've been so busy with Thanksgiving and cooking and hosting and all that stuff. I haven't been on in like a day and a half. So I get on today, and I had heard yesterday or the day before yesterday, Chaffee was telling me, hey, check your mail. So I checked my mail, and I literally had 13 victory messages, and every single one had like glint and an XP, like an XP scroll that was like 25 or 26,000 XP. And I had 13 of them. And I was like, oh my God, like that's a bug. So anyway, hopefully none of our folks like redeemed all those, because I reported the bug. I used one and reported the bug. But if you find that, if you're in Black Talon, if you're in the main Black Talon or in Black Talon 2, you probably got those, because I think those were our 2 guilds that declared. So anyway, use one, report it, get rid of the rest. But anyway, I thought
that's tough. Like, you got the rewards and you're like, oh, this feels like too much. And then you saw a lot of guilds declaring against each other. Like Black Talon 1 would declare against Black Talon 2 or something like that. We didn't do that, but like I saw a couple of those, and I'm like, okay.
That's a problem.
I mean, it's just so obvious, because everyone in the server gets a notification that Guild 1 declared against Guild 2 and won with a score of 1-0. And you're like,
I mean, it's a cool idea for an event, is it not? Like if we want to have a PvP event, it's a great idea to have one of our 3 guilds or 2 of our 3 guilds or whatever declare on each other.
I mean, yes, if you're going to do something like that, but if you're going to just generate bugged 17 email, reward treasure troves, then that's not what you want.
That's not. When they fix the bug, it would be a really cool thing to do in between guilds.
Sonny, you owe me 25,000 XP because you did not declare war. So I was doing all of that without a war declaration.
What can I say?
Those extended bank hours.
Well, hey, we had an update come.
That was good.
We did. We had a dev update.
Yeah, there was a lot that came out of that, and while it was going on, I really didn't know if we'd even talk about this, but the part where they were discussing phase 2, like what's happening with the update on the 20th, which has not been delayed. Like there was a certain point in that stream where Steven was talking and he said, okay, so we need to talk about this. And he proceeded to talk about Alpha 2, Phase 2. And everyone in chat was just like waiting with bated breath, like, oh, here it comes. It's getting pushed back. And I even thought that. I thought, oh, here comes January. Here's January 20th. Fair. And he didn't. He said, no, we're not putting it back. And I thought, oh, that's awesome. And what he went on to talk about was the updates that are coming and then things that they have stretch goals for, particularly a couple that they listed. So, yeah, we have a lot of stuff we can go through. One of those being, you know what? What do you want to do? List and react?
Yeah, you got the list?
I got the list. Yeah, it's right here. Tropics are being expanded, which is kind of cool for all those who've been in the tropic area. That's a pretty area.
It is. Yeah. It feels a little empty right now, but I have the feeling that they're going to like flesh that out the same way that they sort of fleshed out the Riverlands over the course of weeks.
Yeah.
Week after week, you could see the progress in there. Like from the first week that we took a caravan down there to now, there's a marked difference in the stuff that is in there. It's being fleshed out very well. It's freaking awesome. I just want to see the damn Nakua.
Speaking of,
bring them.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, their brothers are coming in the game though. Dunir are for sure coming, and we're getting a Dunir space. So like a starting area, small starting area. Now I wonder where it's going to take place. I guess maybe the northern tropics.
Not in the tropics.
No, not tropics. Northern Riverlands, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, I mean that would make sense. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'd have to look at the map, but I know there is on that northern mountain face, if you go all the way to the north and you follow that ridge line down into the tropics, along that face, there is a very Dunir structure sticking out of the side of the mountain right there.
Oh, I know this. Yes,
say that again. Where?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Where's it at?
If you go all the way to the north of the Riverlands, and there's a mountain peak there, and you can run that ridge line all the way down, and if you look down, there is a very dwarven structure sticking out of the mountain face.
I need to see that.
You do need to see
face.
that. It's very dwarven. It looks like it's carved out of the mountain in a very dwarven Dunir style. And this is big. Yep. This is a big thing. You know, like gamers need dwarves. They need elves and they need dwarves and they need humans. Like,
it's true.
Steven's not so far from the RPG world that he's willing to deviate from those classic things. Yes, he's going to add some cool new things like beach dwarves. Love it. But he's still going to have your classic tropes in there. And so this is important. This needs to be in sooner than later. I'm a little surprised that it wasn't in phase 1, to be totally honest with you. Because these are dwarvy dwarves, as I like to call them. These are your classic dwarves. So I'm happy this is coming in, and this will be the end race for many, many people in our guild and lots of guilds. It will be the race they've been looking for. They will get in there. Look at guys like Thogli. You think Thogly's not rolling a dwarf? They've been waiting forever for this, and good for them that it's coming right on the 20th. Big win for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And speaking of something else as a win, we're getting a new dungeon that is also Dunir themed, and it's called the Befallen Forge. Some things to go along with this. It's a new, like I said, new Dunir themed dungeon. It exists under the Calamir Castle. Inside the dungeon, there are fallen dwarves who were a part of King Atrax. It's been boarded up, closed off due to and I don't know how to say this, Dracolich. Yeah. Dracolich living inside. There's lava and undead dwarves. Dude, that sounds like a good time. Like that. I mean, yes, we're getting the Dunir race, but then on top of that, you're getting that kind of themed dungeon. Like, look, may love PvP, but yeah.
Have you guys run a dungeon yet?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't even been in Carfin yet.
A dungeon?
Well, I've been through the tower. I've been through quite a few.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I mean, they're just not. Oh, well, you have to play. When you play, you get into groups, and then you get to do the
I like
things.
to play, but I like to also play with my friends too. So I just, it's cool how you've done all those solo experiences.
You two throwing that around to each other.
What?
Usually I'm on the receiving end of that, so you can both eat it.
It's not my fault you don't know how to take vacation.
It's weird though. Like it's like the dungeons are. I haven't like experienced them in the same way that I would a Warcraft or something like that, where you have these very specific instance dungeons and you sign up with the looking for group and you end up in the thing and you go, right? Like it's different.
The dungeons are mostly the lore that we already know and then grinding. That's pretty much, I mean, the story arcs aren't really in. There's parts of Carfin that are like locked off because the storyline has not been progressed because the storyline's not in place. So once the storyline's progressed and, you know, you look at the dev update they did on Steel Bloom, and there's parts of Steel Bloom that are closed. You can't get to those areas because the story arc has not progressed yet because it's not in the game. But in the dev update, you get to see all that stuff, you know, because they turn the story arc on and then there you go. So hopefully with the story arcs that are coming, those will start to be a thing to where it will feel a little bit less like you're just trying to dodge mobs or kill mobs to get to your grind spot. And then you set up shop, you know, for 6 hours and grind.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Next is node sieges are functional. The first iteration of that's going to be fun.
JB, what do you think about node sieges coming?
Oh yeah, babe. I mean, like this is like the full on Game of Thrones, like event essentially, you know, like full on warfare. This is, yeah, I want to see what that looks like. It's odd because in my head, the only thing I could think of that comes close, at least in the direction toward this, would be Cyrodiil and ESO. You know, because you're attacking the walls, but also there's that high level of you've got PvP that's going on as well, and so it kind of intermingles the siege aspect with the PvP. That's the only thing that, you know, I feel like could be a part of that. So I'm really interested to see what at least at a ground level, what the purpose or feel of the node sieges are. I think that'll be neat.
I mean, it's going to be a big deal for a guild. If you're in a node and you have spent the time to level up that node, and if you have a guild freehold because you were the biggest guild in that process, and then your node gets sieged, I mean, this is enormous. You talk about rallying the troops to go to war. Like, it doesn't get any bigger than that. So this could be a lot of fun, and also terrifying at the same time. I think this is this remains to be seen for me. Like, I don't know how big this is going to be, but the ceiling on it is enormous. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's risk versus reward. Again, I mean, it's that term repeats itself so many damn times in this game. And you figure, you know, you get rewarded a mayorship, right? And now you're in charge of this area, and then now somebody else is coming to take it. Somebody else is coming to cause an issue for something that you've earned and achieved, and that's the risk. You know, if you want your name in lights, that's what's going to happen. If you want to fly on the flying mount, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you got to defend it.
Right. Next up is player stalls. You can make income NPC in the market area where you can list your goods. Other players can interact with that NPC. Not an auction house, as you have an actual storefront. I can't express how much I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, again, like this is one of those things that kind of harkens back to the Star Wars Galaxies days.
Oh yeah,
where it's going to be people selling their wares in town, and I think that's going to be pretty damn cool. So,
yeah,
I am excited.
Very excited.
It's nice. It's nice. So the big thing I think to take away from this one is that there is going to be an NPC that will, from my understanding and from what I'm hearing Steven say and the words coming out of your mouth, is that there will be like a point of contact that will tell me what's for sale in all of these places, right? The fear was that it would be a true Middle Eastern bazaar where you had to go to stall to stall to stall to figure out what they were selling. And it doesn't sound like that's going to be the case. It sounds like there's going to be like an NPC that actually has, you know, a list of what is going to be available. Now, whether or not you have to be like, okay, I got to go to this stall to get this thing, or I've bought this thing, now I got to go to this stall to collect it. I don't know. Maybe, probably, who knows? Either way, the fact that you can have visibility of all of the items is all I really wanted, because then you're pretty close. They did say that it was going to be on a buy order basis. So there is going to be buy orders for something like this. So if you want 100, if you want 100 wooden oak timber, then you can put in a buy order for that. Now, I don't know what that means for sell orders. I don't know whether or not there's going to be an arbitrage market, whether or not there's going to be something where you can flip items easily. It's all, to be seen. There's just simply not enough information out there until I actually get my hands on it. But this is the beginning of the economy. Okay. Everything you've seen up till now is just absolute, child's play. You're making stuff and selling it to a vendor. It hurts my little green heart every time I have to sell something to a vendor. And so now we're going to be able to actually have a functional economy. And I'm so excited about this. This is just the beginning for all of this stuff. So this is massive that they're going to be able to put this out on the 20th. He said on the 20th, we'll be able to do this kind of stuff. And now you are really going to see a major pillar of economies and a major pillar of MMOs, frankly. Like any MMO that exists is a combination of you going out into the wilds, killing things, going out, killing other players, and then crafting and selling goods. That's like the third pillar to RPGs. And we haven't had it. And so now we have it. So I'm incredibly excited.
Yeah, and I've talked about the days in SWG, and I think at full launch it will look a little bit more like this. But those days in SWG, when you would go into some of the larger cities and people would be advertising in chat for the different types of things they had. You want a T21 rifle? Cool. Go to my shop at these coordinates, and you would go out to those coordinates, and there would be a player city there with a building, and you would open the building, and it would take like 30 seconds for everything on the walls to load, and then everything's on the walls, and you're like, there's my T21, baby. And you'd walk up to the vendor and you'd check the price, and then you'd cuss because the price was way too much, and you'd buy it anyway for all those freaking credits. And now you're rocking a T21. Like, that was the coolest freaking thing. And that's what I really hope to see when freeholds, there's freeholds all over the landscape. That'll be super cool. And there's people peddling their wares there and pushing you to those locations, because you have to physically travel there. You can't just click a button and just buy it right there. I love that.
Yeah.
That gets us to another thing that's coming.
Oh, yeah. Treasure hunts, baby.
No, that wasn't it, but...
No?
That wasn't the one I was thinking about either.
Oh, where are we going?
Oh, freeholds is coming,
freeholds.
bro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a stretch goal. That's a stretch goal for phase 2. So that's going to be guild freehold.
Later, yeah. Player
freeholds. Yes. Cash, what's a player freehold?
Player freehold is way different. That is the one that is a very slight chance that just some of the top people in the server are going to have player freeholds, but it is different from your guild freehold, which your guild can also have. Guild freeholds will not be in this one. That's
so the player freehold is going to be a stretch goal, though. So that will not be in on the 20th. So we kind of got a little bit ahead of the horse here. And JB does have a couple other things that are going to be in there. But the fact is that freeholds will exist probably in phase 2. They are player freeholds. I have already kind of come to terms with the fact that we may not have a player freehold. You are able to get it through families, which is a group of 10 players that will get together and get a freehold. That is going to be a thing. Guild freeholds, I think, are where we are much, much, much more likely to be able to get access to something like that. But player freeholds are going to be super cool. Again, I've said this a million times, and I don't know the answer to this, but my biggest question is, can you put a tavern on a guild freehold? Can you put a tavern on a guild freehold? If someone can answer that question to me, I would love them forever, because that is one of the biggest goals for us is to be able to create the Sleepy Owl Tavern. And I think that the guild freehold will be the place that you have to do it. So, JB, go on.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Like, if that's a thing, and we have those mini games like the said we're gonna have, then just chef's kiss.
I'll never leave.
I know.
I'll never leave.
I know, and then we'll have to find another guildmaster. So there's that. So treasure hunts. This is a big thing. So you will explore and be rewarded. So the way this works, maps can give you a general location depending on rarity. If you discover a dirt mound, you can interact with it and acquire various loot table loot. So the higher the rarity, the higher the possibility for more rewards. And as far as locations as well. So higher the rarity, it may have you going to more places. And loot can, believe it or not, include copper. So there is, which apparently is quite the commodity. Which was funny because Steven even said, he's like, actually, we're seeing like from all our, our numbers that there's quite a bit of copper that's being found and that sort of thing. But
they're hoarding it.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Hoarding it.
It reminds me of New World. Remember when no one would sell anything because the economy was it was backwards at that time?
You had reverse inflation.
Yeah.
Like you had deflation. That's
deflation.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, treasure hunts. Pretty cool. I'm stoked about this one.
Yeah, that's got Warden event all over it. Absolutely. I don't know how we're going to do it with individual treasure maps, but we're going to have to dream something up for the Wardens because we're all over that. That's super cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good time. Then we've got archetype balances. So that's coming. And then the Rogue is coming in phase 2. It's going to be coming post December 20th, though. So, and they're looking at sometime in January. So there's about to be a lot of re-rolls coming January.
Yep. Right here. If I end up being the mayor, we're gonna have to figure something out because I will re-roll as a rogue.
Oh, backstabbing politician. Man, you'll fit right in.
Like it was written for me.
Yeah, like that needs to happen. And it's I'm really looking forward to number one, the Rogue coming in because I really do want to see those mechanics because I'm still bouncing between Ranger and Ranger Rogue. But at the same time, like even when the Rogue comes in with augments not in, it's going to be and the level cap at 25. It's going to be really difficult to actually gauge what we want to play at launch. But I know we're a long ways out, so
yeah,
patience is key
for sure. And then we've got finally some economy balancing improvements there, and then node balancing, and then finally the last stretch goal was the Valoon, the new playable race Valoon. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be happy about that, including my officer, Mr. Flaris the Bard.
Oh yeah, he's looking for.
Do you think a lot of people are going to play the Valoon?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, they're infused with the essence.
Yeah, they look cool.
How freaking cool a lore is that?
Yeah,
they do look cool. I don't know. I would be surprised if there was a lot of people that re-rolled just to be a Valoon.
I don't think you'll see a majority.
Goal, remember, so you're not going to be able to do it right at the wipe, right? Is that right at the wipe?
No, because it's a stretch goal. But Sonny, have you been to the desert?
No, I've not been into the desert.
Dude, the desert is rad. It's not what you would. It's not.
I grew up in Canada. Deserts are kind of like.
It's not Blythe.
There's nothing about me that enjoys heat.
It's not Blythe, California. It is gorgeous.
Is it Baja, California?
It's not the meth capital of the world. Well, maybe it is, but once Vyra introduces its drug of choice, which I'm sure is coming,
it's peyote. It's peyote.
But the desert, actually, the desert is where we went for me to grind off my 125,000 XP debt after the war.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was a special evening. Got to grind all that off. But no, the desert is badass.
I can't wait to see that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
don't make the guild have to build a node in the desert. It's gonna hurt me.
I'm only 33.3% of this vote.
Well, you know where my vote is, so you might as well just decide between the two of you.
Where do you want to go, Sonny?
I guess we're going to the tropics.
Where do you want? Do you want tropics, like a coastal?
God, anywhere but the desert.
Anywhere but the desert?
Anywhere but the desert. Really, honestly.
Okay.
I could deal with the tropics. The tropics wouldn't be my first bet. I could deal with the tropics. I don't know if I could deal with the desert. Honestly.
Cash,
we do have desert fans.
Yeah,
well, I know. But those people aren't running this guild. Those people don't have a 33% vote.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I hate deserts. I just hate them. I hate everything about them. I'm not just a not desert fan. I am a desert hater.
Well, I will say this. You go to a real desert and every live creature wants to kill you. It's pretty much the same in these deserts. It's gnarly. Everyone wants to kill you.
I bet.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Well, what do you boys think?
I think we wrap it up. We had a great show that wasn't even supposed to be a show. I showed up without a bow tie because I was a half hour earlier than I thought I was supposed to be. and it was great. We had a lot of fun. We talked about a tremendous server event that happened. We don't know. I mean, the three of us are still actively looking. I think we're going to have to put a poll out to just gauge the community, what they want to do as far as servers go. So we haven't decided. We honestly don't know if we're going to stay, if we're going to go, what we're going to do. We need to gauge everything. But man, like, you're not wrong. This was a moment that is server lore. This was a great experience for everybody. And, you know, we'll talk about this for an awfully long time and we'll never forget it. It was just it was just bigger than all of us. So
I think too, that's the glory of being able to talk about server events like this that happen in the server. We're talking about it with our friends, and we got to talk EPH tonight with EPH. So Dank, thanks for being here, because that's super cool that we were able to talk about it. And you know, maybe we have a different spin on it than other folks do, but it's a real spin. I'll tell you.
It's true.
I'll tell you that.
What you see is what you get.
that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And I echo, like, thank you. That was cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a good time.
So in the typical old man fashion, I think we should close the show with a very short, what are we thankful for? Thanksgiving was yesterday.
It's true. Time of this recording.
What are you thankful for, bud?
Friends, friendship. You realize as you get older, your table, all the chairs that were at your table just disappear, and you look around one day and you realize that you have a very small group of friends, but those are the group of friends that would carry you if you needed it. And so I am very thankful for close friends, especially as I get older.
Sonny?
I am thankful that we have been able to do all the things that I think the three of us have always wanted to do in podcasting. Each one of us grew up with wide eyes into the podcasting world, 13 years ago or whatever,
Yep.
and had always wanted to have a successful show where people were, having fun and tuning in, and you could bounce back and forth with the community, and you had the financial support to do the fun things that you've always wanted to do with graphics and software and things like that. And we were like this close to kind of throwing in the towel on the last one. Not that we hadn't had success. We've all had success, but like we were just kind of like at the end. And then we decided to do it for this show. And man, I'm just so thankful that we gave it this one more try doing this stuff, because this one has been so much fun. It's been so much fun, and we've had such a great time with all of these people, and we've had so many great stories and so many great things that have happened, and we were able to bring that kind of joy and entertainment to all of the people around us, just moving as a big boat with a wake of people that are having fun with us. And that has been the most rewarding thing over the last 12 months since last Thanksgiving. I've just had an absolute blast. So thanks guys for dragging me along on this thing. And it's been an absolute riot. So cheers.
Well, you've been an asset. So I'm thankful for both of you guys as friends. I'm thankful for this trio of friendship, and the fact that we have, we have our differences at times, but the differences are very friendly, and we always come to a good resolution no matter what. We stand united, us three, in the family that we're building, that I'm also incredibly thankful for. I think this is going to be the best community that we have ever built. We're already seeing signs of that. Just incredibly gracious people, incredibly non-dramatic people. And for some reason, I don't know if it's the process or the show or what it is, but we really seem to be bringing in very, very like-minded people into the things that we're trying to build. So I'm super thankful there. I'm really thankful for a development team that is providing us a vehicle for us to create the things that we want to create in the way that we want to create it. It is every single project that we get into is something that we're doing out of passion for the game. And we just have a developing closeness with these folks who are building our game, and just a mutual respect, I think, for this game that's going to be built. And I think the last thing that I'm truly thankful for is the future. The future is going to be an incredible journey. And we're already there. We've already been surprised here in this first 6 weeks of testing. Incredibly surprised at how this doesn't feel like a test. It feels more like a soft launch. We've talked about that several times together, how we did not expect the level of involvement that we were going to have as people and as guild leaders in what we're trying to drive in this game. We expected to hop in and test and leave some feedback and, kind of move on and just wait. And it's not been that way. It's been a completely addicting experience, and we're learning a ton, way more than I think we expected to learn at this stage of the game. Mm-hmm. And I think that really does harken to some pretty amazing things for the future. So
agreed.
Very thankful.
Well said, everyone. Well, everybody, y'all have a great week. We'll see y'all next week right here. I'm not even doing the outro, Sonny. We're just
no outro.
We're just going out. It's a bonus episode. This is different.
YouTube, Twitch, Patreon.
We're just do it. Do it. Just do it. All right. Everybody have a great week.
Peace,
we love
love,
you.
and honeybees.
Safe travels, adventures.
Peace, we out.